Hello friends, Adam here with FED. Today we're going to be talking about Byleth and some of the best builds or easiest builds for him/her. Now, I'm not going to say I'm an expert, these are just some of the ones that I really like and some of the ones that I think are the easiest. We're going to be going over 5 of them, all the pros and cons associated with those builds, and how to go about training to acquire these skills and classes. So, let's talk about how we can make Byleth a solid unit while also making it pretty much as easy as possible is the goal. So number 1 is the set it and forget it. You're going to be going Noble, Myrmidon, Mercenary, and finishing in Enlightened 1. You'll definitely want to master Noble and Myrmidon and Enlightened 1. Noble for HP plus 5 for early game, Myrmidon for speed plus 2 for when it's necessary or useful, and then Enlightened 1, of course, for Sacred Power. And honestly, you'll probably master Mercenary anyways, so you'll have Vantage laying around if you want it. This build allows you to focus almost entirely on your students during the weekends, which is a really big plus in my opinion. Byleth won't be a huge standout unit, but a great support character and a solid chipper throughout the game. Also, the dodge tank potential is really good with White Magic Avoid plus 20, which is Byleth's budding talent and faith. As far as abilities do go though, speed plus 2 is a solid skill most of the game. You could definitely trade it for HP plus 5 or pretty much any other skill you have laying around. The speed is great, but Maddening has you doubled most of the game, honestly. You get doubled a lot. So speed plus 2 can just help you avoid that where possible. Sword Prowess and Faith level 5 are no-brainers for accuracy and avoid, especially if you're hoping for some clutch White Magic Avoid strats. And then, as mentioned already, White Magic Avoid plus 20 is just too good not to include in this build. You just throw on Nosferatu, and Byleth is just going to be running around with really high avoid and not getting hit very often. It's really good. And finally, Sacred Power from Enlightened 1 allows Byleth to be a frontline support bot, buffing adjacent allies. It allows just adjacent allies to deal more damage. So, really good and really fits with his kit at that point, because he also has Recover as a Faith ability, which is a really good healing spell, but it has to be done, next to your ally. So you have a really good frontline healer. Good stuff. So overall, this build is about as simple as it gets while remaining functional for the entire game. It lacks the firepower of some other more explosive builds, but it requires almost no investment outside of some faith training or White Magic Avoid plus 20. A solid build for those who want Byleth to be good while working on the students. That's really what it comes down to. Okay, number 2.
But dragons?
You're going to go Noble, Fighter, Brigand, Wyvern Rider, Wyvern Lord. You will want to master all these classes aside from maybe Wyvern Rider. As far as combat goes, this is one of the best paths for Byleth. High movement, great stats, and Canto are all amazing tools that make Byleth an incredible unit. It even has some pretty high avoid thanks to Flyers getting an innate plus 10 avoid. However, this is really all you're getting here. Not a lot of utility outside of pure combat potential. It is also pretty high investment for a new game plus file. The flying rank in particular is a pain to train. All of this weekend training will take time away from making your students stronger over the weekends, but it is fairly reasonable all things considered. For abilities, I would definitely stick Death Blow for an extra damage boost along with Strength plus 2. Axe Prowess and Alert Stance are just there for extra buff to accuracy and avoid. Lancebreaker is the only real interesting pick here. It's mainly just for dealing with those horrid Pegasus and Falcon Knights with stupid high avoid and really high speed. It has some utility outside of that, but depending on the map, you may want to switch that out for something else. Overall, this build takes more effort, but it is worth it for the amazing Byleth you get. While it does boil down to haha, big axe person does big damage, there are plenty of other units who can fill the support roles that you'll miss out here. Next we have now with 50% less dragon. This is really just a quick aside for the third build. This is basically the same as the previous, but with Falcon Knight for female Byleth. This just takes advantage of the female exclusive Darting Blow and Defiant Evade instead of the high power of Wyvern Lord. Also replacing Lancebreaker for Swordbreaker for obvious reasons because of the weapon difference, the weapon change, So this is a really solid build that allows Byleth to be a Lance Specialist if you're into that. Also, you can get reposition from Soldier if you go through that class, and that's honestly just really, really good and probably worth having. So overall, solid build, acts a lot like Wyvern Lord, but adds a little variety, a little higher avoid. Okay, next I want to talk about my favorite pick. This is the fun low-cost build. You're going to go Noble, Myrmidon, Mercenary, Finish, and Trickster. Honestly, really easy to achieve, and really only requires Byleth to use swords as their main weapon to gain rare rank there, and spend some time working on Faith on the weekends. The main selling point of this build is Stealth, a class ability of Trickster. Essentially, enemies will not target a unit with the Stealth ability unless they are the only target in range of them. This allows us for some safe healing, safe chipping, and it honestly is just really fun to utilize. The skills included are pretty standard for what Byleth has going on. Prowess skills and White Magic Void are really great here. Speed +2 could easily be replaced, but it's easy to snag. Axe Breaker is another easy skill to get along the way that allows Byleth to face axe users and reliably dodge their attacks. Overall, this is a solid utility pick for Byleth. I recognize that other builds are probably better, but this one is fun and very easy to achieve. And finally, the highest investment build I'll talk about today, the New Game Plus Super build. The class path here doesn't matter because I assume you have literally everything or most everything mastered for this build. I would end up in Wyvern Lord with Axe Prowess, 2 Axe Fairs, Defiant Crit, Defiant Avoid, and Alert Stance. It's just a really fun build to use, but I recognize that the Defiant skills probably and are easily replaced by other skills like Death or Darting Blow or Wrath and Vantage or anything else like that. The possibilities are really endless in 3 houses, and there are a ton of broken builds, so for this, just kind of take your pick. Anyways, thanks for watching, friends. Make sure to like and subscribe, and comment your thoughts. What are your favorite Byleth builds? Which ones do you go for often? Which ones are your favorite like New Game Plus builds? What are your favorite broken builds? I'd love to hear what you have to say. And of course, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.